Hey, ladies and gentlemen, it is me, the Bat Brand. I'm back with a new vlog video. I'm gonna put up another vlog video maybe tomorrow about the dub of Super, the new episode of the dub, and what I thought of it, and the new episode of the English subtitle of Dragon Ball Super. But what we're gonna talk about today is we're gonna talk about what happened in Week 1 in the NFL and preview Week 2. First of all, I would just like to say the biggest disappointment of last week was Le'Veon Bell. He was absolutely terrible. You can tell he looked like a running back who was busy doing garbage he shouldn't have been doing instead of actually stop complaining about his contract and actually getting in the game and doing what he's supposed to do. And he suffered because of it. And honestly, I think he didn't get any barely any run plays in the first half. And I think that was kind of Tomlin. I think Tomlin did that to him because as a form of punishment. And honestly, as I was a coach, I would do that. If you have a player like that and you're a coach, I would do that because you need to check that attitude in check because they don't run the team you do. I'm going to run through some games and basically tell what my thoughts were on them. First game, my Chicago Bears against the Atlanta Falcons. The Bears surprised me very much. Yes, they lost. And that sucks because we're 0-1 again, and we're probably going to have another bad season. But they surprised me. A team like the Falcons, all the experts said they were going to destroy them, not even giving the Bears a chance. And the Bears' defense held them for almost the whole game to almost 17 points. And they were back and forth. And the Bears took a lead a couple times. The problem is going to be the wide receivers. We don't have people to throw the ball to. But we have a great run game, a great line, a great defense. And this line that we have on the offensive side, we can be like the Cowboys, where they just run, rely on the run, and they're a good team. They don't have any wide receivers to throw to there in Chicago, though, because of all the injuries and whatnot. But our running backs, Tariq Cohen has impressed me big time. I'm excited for the future of what's going to happen between Cohen and Howard. We're going to get a two-headed monster again like we used to back in 2006. When we went on that Super Bowl run, if we can get that, we got a power back in Howard and a passing, catching back, and a very speedy back in Tariq Cohen. And I'm excited to see what's going to happen there. Now, they did lose. It was, I believe, 20-17. And they came very close to beating the NFC champs. And I'm absolutely amazed by what they did. Next, we'll go into, I said, by the Steelers, and Browns Steelers did win. I really didn't care much about the game, but Deshaun Kaiser looked pretty good. All things considered, for him being a Browns starting quarterback, he did pretty good. And the Steelers were the Steelers. They're pretty sloppy. If they do what they did last week in Minnesota this week, they will lose. Next, was it Cincinnati and right now, Cincinnati and Baltimore, they lost against Baltimore absolutely handily. Look like, I'm going to say this right now, this is my bold prediction, Cincinnati's going to be the worst team in the league this year. The worst team in the league, because they look absolutely terrible. And I just watched their Thursday night game just recently against the Texans. They couldn't even move the football offensively. Andy Dalton was terrible. First game, he threw 4 picks, and he fumbled the ball twice. Come on. That's pathetic. You can't win a game like that. And I think Marvin Lewis is out the door. I think this is his last year. I think this is going to be it for him. Next, we had the Bills and the Jets. Bills won handily thanks to LaShawn McCoy. McCoy is going to be amazing this year. If you guys have him in fantasy, good job. because he's gonna be amazing. He may be the leading pass catcher on that team. That's how good he is. The only bad part is the Jets look absolutely terrible as well. But they gave the Bills a run for their money. Now, the Dolphins and the Buccaneers did not play. So I can't tell you what my speculation is on them, but I'm expecting big things from the Buccaneers this year. The Dolphins, not so much, because I know they have my old boy Jay Cutler there. So we'll see what they do. But the Patriots-Chiefs game, I love that the Patriots lost. Loved it. Because Tom Brady he looked older. He was still Brady, but he looked like 40 has hit him. And that defense, all that money they poured in doesn't look that good, does it? No. Now, Mike Gillislee, that's a big surprise for me. If they keep using him like they did LeGarrette Blount, he's going to be absolute gold for them. But you can never tell in a Bill Belichick offense. But we'll see. I don't know if the Patriots will win that division this year, but they probably will because everyone in that division sucks. What was the next game? The next game was the Eagles and the Redskins. The Eagles did win in a thriller. As I said before, in an earlier video, I like the Eagles. If that offense can work together. Alshon Jeffrey was a disappointment again. Go ahead, take him. He's an ex-Bears wide receiver. He's not that good. He was good for us when we had him, but he gets injured way too much. Wentz looked fantastic. I think this year he's going to make the jump in his second season. Not MVP caliber, but I think he's going to make a jump and break out big time. The Redskins were good as well. They're going to be in the mix no matter what in the NFC East. All four of those teams always are. Now, the other game that was on was the Lions and the Cardinals. Cardinals did not look good. David Johnson out for the year now. I think they're done. I think that if they can't run the ball, they can't pass the ball in that offense. They can't rely on that defense always. I think they're going to finish almost in last place. If it wasn't for the Niners in that division, they would finish last place. Then next, we had the Rams and the Colts. The Rams looked really good, but they did play the Indianapolis Colts. So I don't know what is in store for them in there, but I honestly think that they'll do okay this year. I think maybe 8-8. They may do a little bit better than that, but I don't see Goff doing that good. I think Gurley's going to be back. Gurley will be back this year and do fantastic. And look out for Cooper Kupp. Cooper Kupp is going to look fantastic on that team. He's the new Wes Welker, ladies and gentlemen. But also, the Niners and the Panthers, that was there was a lot of low-scoring games. And I'm thinking this. I think defenses are going to rule this season. I think defenses are going to be very stout than they used to, much better than they used to be in the last 10 or so years. And I think that defenses are going to rule in the first couple of weeks because of how good the defenses are this year. And offenses were very slow. They were very slow. You could tell they were very slow starting, a lot of them. The Panthers game for example, was slow for a while. A lot of different games. The Steelers offense was slow. Different offenses were slow in week 1 and did not look on sync or on kilter at all. I'm hoping week 2 they'll ramp it up maybe, but we shall see about that. The next game I want to break down and basically talk about, the Panthers game was pretty good. Cam Newton was okay. But he did say he's not going to force the ball anymore, so I don't know if that's going to make Greg Olsen's numbers suffer and Kelvin Benjamin's, because he used to force the ball into Greg Olsen and it worked. I don't think. And Christian McCaffrey didn't do that good. Next, we had the Jaguars and the Texans, and we saw Leonard Fournette's coming out party. He did fantastic. He's an amazing runner. Over 160 yards rushing. First game, if he keeps doing this every week, Jaguars are going to win that division. They impressed me. Now, they do still have Blake Bortles at quarterback. And Blake Bortles is terrible. But, and the Texans now had Deshaun Watson starting, which I liked watching him. He looked pretty good in the time he was in. But still, the Jaguars surprised me. If they can win again this week, I'm sold on them. I will be sold on them, and I think that they will win that division. Now, the Titans, I still like them to win that division, but they lost against the Raiders. They just got a bad turn of the cards. The Raiders is a fantastic team. They're going to go to the Super Bowl probably this year if they don't meet the Patriots in the final game in Foxborough. They're going to probably go to the Super Bowl this year. And honestly, Marshawn Lynch was too much for them. He's back, baby. Marshawn Lynch, being a year out of football, he showed that he can still do it. He's normally running backs at the age of 30, they go downhill. He didn't. He's still going good, and he's still running hard. Very powerful back still. Now, the other game I wanted to talk about was Seattle and the Packers. That was a very slow game, too. Very, very slow. I think maybe 3-3 was the score at halftime. That's how bad it was. Like, nobody scored for the longest time. It was like watching paint dry. And Aaron Rodgers looked slow, and Russell Wilson looked slow, but the Packers won, and unfortunately, the Packers had to win. But they won. And another game that I wanted to talk about, too. Oh, yes, I wanted to talk about the Giants and the Cowboys. That game had me, let's just say, the Cowboys, they're lucky Zeke is still there. Because they're lucky Zeke isn't out for the whole season, or probably isn't going to get suspended, because he willed them to a win last Sunday. And let me just say, the Giants were one of the worst offenses I saw next to the Bengals all weekend, because it's time for them to move on from Eli Manning. They need to get a younger quarterback. They need to start Davis Webb, or at least ease him into it next, or give him the starting job next season, because Eli's done. He just looks like a quarterback that's done. Yes, maybe because he didn't have his favorite weapon in Odell Beckham, but they don't have a run game in New York. And you're going to expect to throw the ball? They scored 3 points all game. That's it. That's how bad they sucked. Like, at least the Bengals scored a touchdown. Like, you can't even get a freaking touchdown in the game. But then, the Monday night games was one of the best of the night. I like the Chargers-Broncos game. Let me talk about that game first. And I'll try not to say this like Sergio Dip did, and sound like I'm being held hostage and reading a note off of a cue card. Well, that game was pretty good. The Broncos did win, which surprised me a little bit. Trevor Siemian had a fantastic game, and maybe this year he makes a jump somewhat, but I still think that I think he will, because last year he was worried about Paxton Lynch. Now with him not there, they know he's not going to be the starter, and he's the proven starter now. And I think he'll do much better than what he did last year. Now the Saints and Vikings game, the Vikings look amazing. If Sam Bradford plays like this all season, they're going to win that division and possibly go to a conference championship game. That defense was suffocating. Absolutely amazing. I'm not even a Vikings fan. I'm a Bears fan. And it's so incredible because even Stephon Diggs had a huge night. Adam Thielen had a huge night. They ran the ball. Dalvin Cook had over 146 yards rushing. What? But then we got, they're going to be fantastic this year. Now, week 2, there's some fantastic games this week. Big shootout capability games, and I'm talking about 2 or 3 games that are probably going to be shootouts this Sunday. I'm probably going to say the shootouts are probably going to be the Giants and the Lions on Monday night. New Orleans at New England. That's going to be a huge matchup. Atlanta, Green Bay. Those are 3 games that are probably going to be shootouts all the way. And Tampa Bay and Chicago may be back and forth too because their defenses aren't fantastic. But the Bears have proven to me that their defense is much better than last year's. Now, they have lost Jarrell Freeman. I don't know if that's going to affect the team as much as it has, but I think it's going to be fantastic. Now, the game I'm most looking forward to watching this week is a Steelers game. It's the Steelers and the Vikings. Frankly, because both of those teams are coming off very good defensive displays. And I want to see if Dalvin Cook can do it again against Steelers' run defense. There's different games like the Ravens and Browns and the Bills and the Panthers. And Oakland is going to face off against, I forget who. Oh, they're facing the Jets. So if you have Marshawn Lynch, start him against the Jets. And also, there's another game I'm intrigued by. The Cowboys and the Broncos. That may be an interesting game too. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Now, tune in next week. I'm going to do a recap of the games for week 2 and tell you what my opinions are in that. Thank you guys so much. I love all of you guys so much. Like, subscribe for more, and please share my videos. Share them on YouTube so people can see them. So more people can see them. If we all work together, this community will triple. And I'm excited about that, guys. So thank you so much for watching. I am the Bat Brian. Peace, my Bat community.